Welcome, my dear student, in this new topic. And our today's topic is the components of embedded system. Now, in the up to the last video, we see the different application areas of the embedded system. Now, here we try to see the different component which are used in embedded system. Which are the component used in embedded system? तो अगर देखा जाए तो basically in the embedded system contains the processing unit, which is called the microprocessor. Then after that, controlling unit, that is called the microcontroller, and again peripheral devices. So if we go in a processing unit, it is called as a microprocessor, and normally we try to use the Intel 8086 microprocessor for the purpose. We also use 8085 microprocessor, but normally according to the instruction set, that is RISC and 6. On the basis of, we will discuss what is RISC and what is 6, but on the basis of that RISC and 6, this Intel 8086 is normally used with a high demand. I think that in ALP you already studied the Intel 8086 microprocessor. Okay, now that means you are already aware about that one. So as in the first video I already discussed with that embedded system is a combination of 2 to 3 subjects. You already discussed already studied the ALP, and ALP you already studied the some part of microprocessor, some part of microcontroller. Now here in the embedded system we have to collect that two terms, and we have to generate a certain system that we call as the embedded system. In short, it like that. Then also we try to discuss the microcontroller also. In that we use the microcontroller of 89C51, 8051 also, 89C51 also at Milka. Then also we use ASSP, that is the FPGA. FPGA means the field programmable gate array. FPGA is one of the normally what happens. This FPGA is used as a platform for the VHDL programming. Okay, not for this one, but sometimes we can connect this. Sometimes if you have to design a certain critical system, in that critical system, if you require an embedded system also, and if you require a VLSI system also, if you require that particular two domain, we can connect it. At that time, we can use that ASSP or FPGAs like that. Okay, so these are the basic component in the. So again, I repeat that same thing. So the basic component of the embedded system is it comes to be the first. Now important is the processor, that is a microprocessor, again microcontroller, and some part is of FPGA, that is ASSP. Okay, so because when you discuss that component terms in the embedded system, you have to well known about that. Okay, the input output subsystem to interface the sensor actuator with each other and with the real world sensor are to be connected at the input ports to read the data. Yeah, if you call it as a system, it required an input and it required output. Until now it does not have the input and output, it is not a system. सिस्टम कब बनती है? जब सिस्टम में कुछ इनपुट टर्म रहेगी, उसके बाद कुछ आउटपुट टर्म रहेगी, देन वी कॉल एज अ सिस्टम. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल अब मैं इनपुट दे रहा, मुझे आउटपुट कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा, इट इज अ सिस्टम? नो, वी कांट कॉल इट एज अ सिस्टम. कुछ ना कुछ आउटपुट मिल रहा, विजुअलाइज हो रहा नहीं हो रहा वो बात अलग है, बट इनपुट देने के बाद मुझे कुछ आउटपुट मिल रहा, देन इन डिफरेंट. हाँ, विदाउट अप्लाइंग इफ यू गॉट आउटपुट, दैट इज अगेन नॉट अ सिस्टम. सो इनपुट एंड आउटपुट ये दो टर्म इंपॉर्टेंट है जो सिस्टम में इनपुट आउटपुट टर्म्स होंगी वहाँ पे. तो अभी क्या है कि एम्बेडेड सिस्टम में सेंसर रहेगा, एक्चुएटर रहेगा, तो वो एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्टेड का. सेंसर और एक्चुएटर ये दोनों एग्जाम्पल कंसिडर किए, तो विच इज एक्टिंग एज अ इनपुट एंड आउटपुट. Like sensor will be sense the data, it means it collect the data, it take the input, and actuator will be give the output. So input sensor will be act as the input, whereas the actuator act as the output ports for the controlling the external variable. The common IO device includes the buttons, switches, LEDs, LCD. These are the basic examples. Here we take an example of button switches. Now button switches, these are the input or output. Definitely it is the input device, whereas LED and LCD is the output device. Okay, so depending on that. On receiving the sensor data, processor execute a predefined function with the help of firmware embedded in the system. The memory subsystem for holding the firmware and other configuration details. It is in the form of the ROM. It can't be modified by using a user. The memory subsystem holding the software and other configuration details, and it in the form of a read-only memory. The most of the common memories used in the embedded system, which include the OTP. It include a PROM, that is a program read-only memory. It include a EEPROM, that is external erasable programmable read-only memory, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, then flash memory. Like that, these are the basic example of the different memory that is used in the embedded system. Yeah, this is again a part of embedded system. We can't call it only the microprocessor microcontroller. With a microprocessor microcontroller, it does not have a specific amount of memory. If you want to do the big task, you should require a maximum energy. Now, when you require the maximum energy, you require a particular memory size. We require a particular external memory. So for that purpose, we use a PROM, we use the EEPROM, we use the flash memory like this. Size may vary from few bit to megabyte. Yeah, depending on the application, it requires a different size. If you have to perform the small task, you require a small memory. If you have to perform the big task, you require a large memory size. So depending on your application, it may be vary. System may also require the temporary memory node. Normally we require a temporary memory node as a working memory for performing the function of software. This is in the form of RAM. That RAM should be the static RAM or it should be a dynamic RAM. That RAM also vary from few byte to the few megabyte. And normally this RAM is a random access memory is depending on the application. So normally क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे systems में अपने को पता है कि कुछ software कुछ data no it called not called as a data, it called as only a software purpose. So instruction set which is to be examined or which is to be changes day by day or alternately. So which is normally stored in the terms of random access memory RAM. And there are two types of RAM, that is static and we have to go in a detail of static and dynamic, but I think that you already discussed that static RAM and dynamic RAM in the STLD or in ADAC also. Okay, so we can't go in detail of that. Again, the RAM size is also vary from few byte to few megabyte depending on the application. Again, as like a ROM and RAM both are the same thing, but the application of the ROM and RAM is different. If you have to store a software, you should require a RAM. If you have to store a data, you require definitely ROM. Okay, now your basic concept should be clear, I think so. Okay, we will go to the forward. The communication interference such as network card to facilitate the communication between the various onboard subsystem chips. Yeah, we require also communication interference. Now the communication interference is required. It also comes to be under a part of application. Now if you have a certain application which is related with the communication or the communication part is very important, in that we require a communication interference network card. Okay, but if it does not require it, no need to use it. Then supervisory system such as watchdog, timer, like that. The support system such as reset circuit, clock generator, circuit regulator, power supply. These are the basic support system. Now reset system is used for, because we are dealing with the digital part. Digital part is mean definitely that is it comes into a memory. Memory is a part of a flip flop. So flip flops comes to be the whatever to be the some particular input output comes, that is set reset. So that's a pin is very important. Again along with that set reset, it clock generations, because we are working with the digital part. Then regulated power supply of plus 5 plus minus 5 volt or the plus minus 12 volt, that depend on either single power supply or dual power supply, depending on different applications. Again part of that. And then the real time operating system, which is a very important. Real time operating system is very important, RTOS, because on the basis of that real time operating system we are trying to work on the real time. Okay, so these are the different components which are used in the micro in the embedded system. Again we try to discuss, again we try to summarize that which are the component are we are trying to use in the embedded system. So normally in the embedded system, if you try to discuss, the first component is the microprocessor, another is the microcontroller. Again apart from that, if you can use FPGA also. With if you have to do the communication purpose, then we can use the communication area network. Along with that, we require two memories part. One is the ROM, another is the RAM. Along with that, we have to require the watchdog timer. Also along with that, if we have to require support system, and support system contains the three different parts, that is reset circuit, clock generation circuit, and a regulated power supply. And the real time operating system also it required. So these are the basic terms which are to be used in the embedded system. That's it. Okay, so thank you very much. In the next video we will try to discuss another part.